Good morning. Today we're going to cover professionalism and later we will cover job seeking skills towards the end. But for right now, we're going to cover Chapter 3, Professionalism. Now, what is a professional? When you're walking in a mall and you go to a store or you're going to a movie or you're going into the hospital to see someone or wherever you go, what does that person possess that you see that you would say, that's a professional? Let's take a look at some. A person with much experience and great skill in a specified role. I heard you. I know that's what you said. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. A person engaged in specific occupation for pay or as a means of livelihood. Next, a person who has credentials obtained through education and training. Now for your LPN, licensed practical nurse, your registered nurse, your doctors, they all have licenses. A certified nursing assistant, a geriatric nursing assistant, they have a certificate. Now, again, let's continue with professionalism. Having a professional attitude. Now, what does that mean to you? Most of the time when you say that a person has an attitude, that's negative. Oh, she has an attitude. Or, oh, who he thinks he has an attitude. Always comes off as negative. But a professional attitude is something quite different. How does a person display a professional attitude? Come on, I know you have examples. Yes. Good, 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 good. Possessing a positive attitude. That means that you already have to have a positive attitude. So you have to look at the bright side of life. You have to look at a cup that's half full and not half empty. Committed to doing your best. Yes. Is it something that you're doing that you're just getting by doing? Or your supervisor is not there, so you're just going to do whatever you want to do? Or are you committed no matter who's there, no matter who's watching you, who's not watching you? You are committed to doing your best. Work ethic. Now, what is a work ethic? Well, it's your attitude towards your work. And remember that a strong work ethic is what separates an average employee from a great employee. And I know you want to become a great employee. So you are going to have a strong work ethic. Now let's look at some of the characteristics of professionalism. Punctuality. Most people think that if your shift is 7 to 3, that you should be there at 7 o'clock. No, you should be there at least 10 minutes before 7. Because when you walk in the building at 7 o'clock, then you go and punch in, then you talk to the person in the art room, then at the elevator you talk to someone else, and then you go upstairs and you're talking to somebody else. By the time you actually get on the floor, by the time you actually get to the nurse's station, it is 15 minutes later. And guess what? Even though you walked in that building at 7 o'clock, you are late. So you need to be there, I would say, 15 minutes earlier. So you could be on the floor at the nurse's station, ready to take report at 7 o'clock. Let's look at another one, reliability. What does that mean to you? Let's think. People who are reliable. And those are the people that you can what? That you can count on, right? Some of your friends are reliable and some of your friends are not. Some of your friends you can count on and some of them you cannot. Same with coworkers. Some of your coworkers you can depend on, some you cannot. Who would you rather work with for that day? Another characteristic is accountability. Be accountable for what you do. If there's an accident, if let's say a patient falls out of bed, you don't try to hide that. You are accountable. You will go and report the accident. First, you will make sure that the patient is safe. Then you will report the accident. It is better to report the accident than for someone to find out later what you did, and then you may lose your job. Another one is conscientiousness. Yes, we need to be conscientious. That means that we need to be right on it, what we're doing. We need to be aware, alert, and alive to what we are doing. Courtesy and respectfulness. You know, it is better to be courteous to one another and be respectful of one another and not take anything or anyone for granted. You respect the authority of a person. You may not like your charge nurse, you may not like the head nurse, but you respect the position that they are in. They are your supervisor. And you will get headway further being courteous and being respectful. The next characteristic is honesty. Unfortunately, in healthcare systems, there are people that steal. Yes, they steal from the patients. As sad and sorry as that appears to be, but that is, they do. But also, what about not only stealing from the patients, but stealing supplies from the nurse's station? You'll say, oh, they have 5 or 6 pens. I can take one. Or they have, oh, look at that whole box of combs. I need a couple for my children at home. No, that's stealing. You cannot take anything. You usually can take one, and that's for the use of that item at work. Anything else, you are stealing. Yes, you are. Cooperativeness, being cooperative, working with people is extremely important. In healthcare, especially in nursing, you can hurt your back if you think you're going to go by yourself. You're going to do it alone. You don't need anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm in a bad mood today, or whatever. Or I don't like those people. Whatever it is, you need to work together with someone. You find at least one other person, one other staff person that you can work with. You need to preserve your back for a lifetime. I can tell you about personal experience. You need your back. So cooperate. Work together as a team. Not one person takes care of the patient. Everybody takes care of the patient. It is a team effort. Empathy. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean sympathy, and you all know what sympathy is because you send sympathy cards out to people. Sympathy is when you feel sorry for somebody, when you have pity on somebody. Empathy means putting yourself in that person's place for the moment. In other words, you're not saying, oh, I know exactly how you feel. No, you don't. Everybody have different life experiences, so you don't know exactly how someone feels. So being empathetic is just putting yourself in their position and listening to them. A lifelong learner. That means that you have to take training, you go to in-services, you continue to learn. This is an ever-growing, ever-increasing technological occupation. We need to learn the newest things. There's always new technology. There's always new electronics. Always new um, gadgets and machinery. Oh, just everything is just so new. You have to be up on everything. Yes, you do. You need to know what's going on the floor. You need to know what machines they're using in the room just to have a